So, have you got a good camera, and have you put your findings on the interweb of lies and thieves and charlatans?
I haven't. We've got a little Cornwall Bee Breeders Group website which we put stuff up on, and I never put all of my other bits and pieces on, but I'm in the middle of redesigning my bee course to deal with a range of issues from microplastics to sublethal effects of all the agrochemicals and the impacts that has on individual well-being of the larvae, the adult bee, and all sorts of things. So redesigning a whole bee course to deal with future threats and problems.
Because as you've said, 1962, year of my birth, Rachel Carson. Nobody really listened.
I'm
But
just
you're
rereading
so good.
that book.
Yeah, no, you were saying you're
But
so
I had to read
good.
that when I was 19, when I did my first degree, and I got so depressed after that because I thought we were an intelligent species. And I was totally green going off to uni, and then I read this book, and then it was all...
What did you study at uni?
I studied science degree in applied geography, but it was a systems-based analysis, and we looked at things ranging from dendrochronology, pollen analysis to behavioural responses in humans to societal changes. So it's a very integrated, holistic course.
I mean,
first of its kind.
to me, it's like I'm not. I'm the exact opposite of a politician. I have a law that actually holds politicians to account, but it's lethal doing anything with the scripture. I've kind of given up, but I spent 10 years recently sort of trying to focus people, the Greens, who are useless, onto the rivers of the marches, the why, Usk, they're all ruined. But it's like this microplastics thing, that's the one thing. I mean, I first joined Friends of the Earth 25 years ago, and to me, our generation have failed. It was kind of slightly inadvertent, but it's like to hear that one, that there are microplastics even on the Antarctic and the top of Everest.
Yeah.
It's like,
and the polyester fibres are airborne across the whole planet.
But they're all buying these bloody dry robes, and they go into the washing machine and go off into the sea. But I'm actually the most ridiculous optimist in the world.
You have to have hope.
I think that's a dangerous word. Christians use that, and they're all charlatans.
I have hope in the planet because she will reformat herself. She's got about 1 billion years left before the sun goes critical, and we have a great opportunity for other life to
and everything will evolve such that bees will be just fine with microplastics in their system in 1 million years or 1,000 years even. But I got a kid, and my kid looking at my dad's generation got this planet full of microplastics. But it's really interesting that I think you're the first person I've ever heard speak about it being part of the bee cycle in this country. Now, that's really interesting. But anyway, it's like your knowledge is so good. I don't really do anything.
I do it through reading. And there's lots of open source information on the internet, which shows postgraduate, postdoctorate research, specific research areas of just science, not sponsored by pharma or anything. And that's what I read. And I try to synthesize that down into something which is bite-sized to make it comprehensible.
But you've also done that beautiful thing yourself. You've watched your bees, and you've picked up something that probably the rest of them hadn't focused on.
This is it. They didn't, because I asked people, have you noticed your bees bite first? No, bees don't bite. Well, do you wear gloves? Well, don't wear gloves. You'll notice the bees bite you first.
That's interesting.
They don't go for them, as I said before, they don't go for that nuclear option. Make your life uncomfortable, then if you don't get the message, then attack.
Totally. And that to me, it's like that even applies to human medicine in all sorts of ways, blah blah blah. But I'll email you. I've actually, the only thing I've given up everything. I'm so green. I was a professional pilot for 20 years. When my daughter was born, I gave up aviation, gave my commercial license back. It's not viable, blah blah blah. But it's like, I got quite a good camera, and maybe you like. I look at life in terms of I might die at any second. I might die. So you've got to leave behind a good 10 minutes of you talking about your.
Well, this is what I now recognise. Because I was talking to people in the late 90s about what I was finding, the government's chief bee inspector said to me, "Have you written any of this down?" I said, "No." I said, "But I'm not finished yet. There's still too much there's still too much unknown for it to be
absolutely.
certain.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I got asked to write this short paper, which I presented at Versailles, and I got an International Conservation Award for it, and which are based on behavioural adaptation on in vitro growth, biting back, But I haven't stopped there. I've still been looking at what the bees have been doing, and then finding these consistent behaviours, but then it's all other subtle aspects which are going on in the colonies.
Absolutely.
I don't use smoke.
Which may take more decades to discover. But to me, it's about inspiring the youngsters. I mean, you've used the horrible word hope, which those awful Christians use. But if the younger generation know how really not very good we've been, and you've given a beautiful example of academe having one attitude rigorously, and you, probably a self-taught person, kind of found, actually, no, you're all wrong. So that's hopeful. That's hope. That's hope.
I have hope in the planet.
Yeah.
So, I love the Green Man, but you never know where he is.
What's the...
Green Man.
Yeah. I lived in this dreadful place where they had a Green Man Festival. It's all made up, by the way. It's only about 20 years old.
But it's just caught that as a glimpse with the lichens and things are my favourite.
Oh yeah. Lichens are the best thing to absorb CO2. But
And a lot of other pollutants.
But I'll send you an email. Maybe we could. I mean, I look at life only in terms of I have a phenomenally intelligent 25-year-old daughter. If she returned to being an environmentalist, it's like hearing things like the story you told me. Her generation need to hear. It's as simple as that.
This is why I'm redesigning my bee
Yeah.
course so that more beekeepers, if all the fluffy stuff stays the same, they need to be prepared for the challenges ahead. So
Absolutely.
bees can adapt. We've got to give them the space to adapt.
Yeah.
And that's what our responsibility is. It isn't to save them, we've got to give them the time so that they can adapt to the challenges.
That's so interesting. Yeah, and they did announce this morning the BBC are part of the problem usually, but I was listening to. I've given up because of the snotty people like the one who was standing here. Oh, I resent being rude to, but. It's like 4 o'clock this morning. I was listening to quite a good program on the environment, and only 2.6% of the world's energy comes from renewables. That's the fact, and quite a good guy had really looked into it. So behind the spin,
Mirrors.
sorry.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, behind the spin, it's like we need to know these facts, and that even shocked me. It's like we've got such a long way to go.
We did a limits to growth projection ourselves back in the late 90s, early 80s when I was doing my first degree, and we were predicting then 2017, 2020 was the centenary year.
And you, so his honey is just
I steal it from the bees.
exactly. Yes, but everything's a symbiosis. Everything is parasitical symbiosis. So.